Yeah, all you're gonna do is look at the tape, right? You look at the tape.
Who got that breakdown? Who got that actual video breakdown? Swift Sports, that's who. Knowledge on time. TDU. Game time. Welcome to the Swift Sports Show. Turn it up. Super Bowl Shuffle. Don't forget to like and sub. Them other channels drinking, man, they need to sober up. This here is bear down. Yeah, we going for the dub. You're now watching Swift Sports.
Swifty in the house.
What's up, guys? Swift here. I got special guest Kenneth Davis from the Under Center pod at NBC and my man Will Wright. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Ken. Tell the people where they can find you, and then Will as well afterwards.
All right. I'm Kenneth Davis. You can check me out on NBC Sports every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Where we break down the Chicago Bears and NFL. Myself, along with our Bears insider Josh Strock and our Bears beat reporter Alex Shapiro. Claire Flipley runs the show along with Tony Gill. You can follow me at That's Davis on social media. Have another podcast called That Davis Show that I haven't been making enough episodes for. That I got to get back into. But yeah, that's where you can find me at. Just talking Bears football. Also, you can check me out for NBC Sports on Big Ten Country 2 with James Naveau, where we do college football, Big Ten football, and Big Ten basketball coming up since we're switching off from football into basketball.
Man, love it. So many places. I've been watching the Under Center pod for a long time. Big fan. And then Will, go ahead and tell people where they can find you as well, my man.
Yeah, Will Wright on Twitter at Will Wright06, special guest on the Barroom Network, No Man Network, and just really a Bears aficionado talking Bears all year round, preseason, postseason, draft, because we want the beloved to be relevant again, because when the Bears are good, the whole NFL is good. So, look, let's lock in. Let's go.
Yeah, for real. We were just kind of chopping it up backstage, and they were kind of having some good points here. We were talking about Luke Getsy, so I think I want to start it off with I want to get your guys' thoughts on Luke Getsy and what you think. Do you think he's the guy for this offense? Because I think all of us can kind of agree with what we've seen the last year and a half that I'm not sold. I'm not sold. I want Getsy to be out of here at the end of the year. I actually thought there was a chance he could be fired during the bye week, even though we pulled off that win. But Ken, what are your thoughts on that? And Will, feel free to chop in anytime.
I recently saw on a travel check tracker that Matt Eberflus was headed to Mount Sinai with Luke Getsy, and he was going to sacrifice him to the God to save his ass. I'm joking. I'm being facetious.
Oh, man.
I mean, because the question, look, whatever happens this year, Luke Getsy is gone. There's no, if Ron Post kept Luke Getsy, he is putting himself in danger. All right, Matt Eberflus. For instance, the thing that the news has been popping lately is you did hear Matt Eberflus talking about, they need to be vertical or whatever. That's the slight separation that he's starting to be like, my defense is playing, y'all. Even though Matt Eberflus is supposed to be in charge of both sides of the
CEO.
And yeah, both sides of the football. He's supposed to give Luke Getsy the orders of what he likes to see on the offensive side. He's supposed to at times tell him either do this or that, or no, don't do that. Go for it, don't go for it. So I like how we try to cover Matt Eberflus in his side of the ball, but he's on both sides of the ball. And then you can say, well, Alan Williams is gone, but still, there are guys, that still call their favorite side of the ball, but are still CEOs and head coaches. You know what I'm saying? Sean Payton is in Denver calling plays, but I'm sure he's telling Vance Joseph, do this, or if Vance Joseph asks, can I send everything at him? Yeah, send it. Go ahead and send it. No, not right now. Because especially being an offensive mind, and this is what I used to like about Matty Eberflus when he first got here. I'll go sit in the quarterback room because he would say, I have something to provide them because I can tell them what the defense is thinking. right? So that's the same thing when we're talking about other head coaches that are either defensive-minded coaches who still have input on the defensive side, or offensive-minded who are still calling offensive plays on this. Yes, you still have control of both sides of the ball. But Swift, to answer your question, hell no, Luke Getsy can't be here.
Hell no.
After this year. There's not. I mean, the uproar that would happen in this town if you said, oh, we're gonna run it back entirely. You know what I'm saying? Because like, just think if Alan Williams, we'll never know. It's a Twilight Zone what if moment, how this defense would have operated if Alan Williams hadn't resigned, right? We don't know. Maybe Alan Williams would have gotten the same performance that Eberflus has gotten out of them over the last 6 to 7 games. As far as the run defense has been one of the best in the league now. And now since Montez Sweat has gotten here, he hasn't had to use blitz pressure as much. They're getting to him more by Montez Sweat being the multiplier and getting other guys open on the defensive line. You've seen better games from Justin Jones, so you see how it benefits guys when you have a true stud that people have to game plan for in that front 4. But still, to get back to your points with no, he can't. Like, and then it's why do we keep settling? I'll end right there so Will can jump in. Why do we keep settling? Like, I never get this thing here. This is Chicago. This is not Hoboken. I'm not taking a shot at Hoboken. I got family in this place. It's not Rockford. This isn't Cincinnati. This is Chicago. Why do we act like a small market where it's like, well, we can't let them? Everybody's so afraid. This is the last thing about, and I know you asked about Luke Getsy, but I'm going to bring this to Eberflus. Yeah. Well, the defense is playing better. If we get rid of them, it's a cover 2 defense. All right, like what you telling me? You can't find somebody that can dial up cover 2 cover? Like, come on. Like, I'm not saying it's not more to that. That you still, there's other things I know. There's a lot that goes into it. But if you're telling me that if you got the weapons, that your fear now is that he's the only guy that can guide that defense, I don't have the same fear. But again, getting back to Luke Getsy, he out of here anyway.
Even to that point, I mean,
Rick, think about this. Rick.
Go ahead.
To caveat off of that question and what Ken is saying, because it's a results-oriented business. I know we're in the middle of a rebuild and we're looking for progress, but it's still about wins and losses collectively. And 3 losses that could really have us, instead of 4-8 and 7-5, all 3 of them realistically boil down to coaching. That Denver Broncos game, they gave up 70 points the week prior. One thing I like about Belichick, if he got his foot on your throat, guess what he gonna do? He gonna keep it on your throat.
Mm-hmm.
What we up 28-7. What did Luke Getsy do? He
took his foot off the gas.
You can't throttle down and then, oh shit, it's 28-21. We got to throttle back up. If you'd have kept your foot on the throat, man, we could have put up 42 that game. Mm-hmm. Minnesota Vikings game, same thing. It's 6-6. We driving, running the rock. Oh, Justin, step back and throw the ball. Now you're getting cute. Now Justin throws a pick. Vikings go back the other way, score a touchdown. Now Justin got to overcompensate for poor play calling, trying to make a play. He goes outside the pocket. He gets hurt. Same thing with the Detroit Lions. We up 26-14. Now you want to get conservative. Now you want to play Now this was culpability. This was shared culpability between Luke Getsy and Eberflus. You got Montez Sweat and Tremaine Edmonds on the sideline. I'm sitting here at the game like, man, this crunch time. Why they over here sitting over here? And they need to be out there putting pressure on Jared Goff and crew. We get the ball back. Your best player on offense besides DJ Moore is who? Justin Fields. So you run 2 dive plays up the middle with Herbert, -2, no gain. And then on 3rd down, you want a shot play? Because, well, you don't want a shot play. But again, personnel groupings, play call, that's on coaching. Okay, instead of Tyler Scott, that could have been Darnell Mooney. You could have had Scott Speed cleared out for either Mooney or for like, if we can see this, how can, when it comes to in-game situation and counteracting to a counter punch from the defense, like when, because they see these defensive formations all game. Tampa Bay said the same thing. We knew y'all about to throw a screen. That's why we picked it out 27. Like when you look at the games that we should have won and could have won with better coaching, realistically, we could be sitting at 9-3 right now.
And that's the problem. I mean, you kind of bring it in with the coaches there. It goes from Getsy to Eberflus.
Yes,
like Ken said, he has the
Yeah.
final call. So
Right.
when it comes to being conservative, whose call was that at the end of the day? Is that Eberflus telling him, we got to lead and I trust my defense? I want you to run the ball and take the clock out? Or is that Getsy? And that's where part of it comes. Like, I know I put a lot of the blame on Getsy, but then when Eberflus says, hey, I got the final call, it's like, well,
I was going to say it's Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
Because one, I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why. One, you decide how aggressive your team is going to be. Your coordinators go off of what you
coach,
say.
yep.
If they know, just like when Will was talking about Belichick, you think Belichick's coordinators don't know what he wants them to do? I'm sure if they don't, he lets their asses know.
Oh, yeah,
right?
they'll find out.
So one, these games where he's the Tyson Bagent game, he did the same shit where he got conservative 2 runs. Then I'm gonna go 3rd and long, which it's a wrap. Y'all ain't that type of good for that type of mess. In the 4th quarter, when it's ratcheted up, he did it with Bagent. He came back when Justin was healthy, did the same thing. So I'm gonna tell you that's the second reason why it's on Matt Eberflus. So hypothetically speaking, if the first time for some reason the head coach didn't have the play call or tell him to get conservative, I'm sure after they lost the game, he should have let his ass know, don't you do that shit no more. Like straight up, period. Look, next time we are kicking somebody's ass, the last thing I need you to do is get too conservative and put our quarterbacks in a disadvantaged situation where you know it's a throwing situation. You have been switching it up all game long, throwing on downs where you didn't put them in precarious situations, and then you wait to crunch time to get silly again. So it's on Matt Eberflus because it's your team.
Yeah, that's dead on. You killed it there because that's something that until we kind of chopped it up and talked about that a little bit, it's something I hadn't even thought about it enough that this is Eberflus. He tells us that he has the final say. He has the final say if they can go for it on 4th down or not. And he tells Getsy that before 3rd down, like, hey, this is a situation where I'm going to want you to go for it here. But so when that conservative play calling keeps happening over and over and over, just like Will said, it's not something that we've just seen once. It even happened in that Vikings game 2 weeks ago that we ended up winning. Thankfully, we came back and got a win after it, but the conservative play calling almost cost us that game and put us in a position we shouldn't have been in when we pretty much controlled the game throughout 3.5 quarters.
Dude, don't they go and talk to each other about what worked and what didn't work?
Right.
Aren't they supposed to meet during the week? Look, this was working for us. We got to continue to do that. We got to scrap that. That almost cost us the game. That did cost us the game. Like this. So, again, with Swift and Will, because this is Chicago, they're trying to build up a save Matt Eberflus kind of run right here. That's what they own right now. All right, if you're paying slick attention, everybody and their mama like, I think I'll keep him. And it's like, what's the context here? Because if you're telling me they get 6 victories, and we got into a debate on Under Center podcast. If you're telling me that the thing they're running now, it's just like how politicians, on both sides of the aisle you could tell when they get their keywords and they're talking topics after they come out of their big meetings, and you can see everybody saying the same thing. It's like, oh, okay, they got the organized, whatever. It's the same thing in that, where it's like, you're sitting here telling me if he wins 6 games, it's 100% improvement from last year. So when they said that to me, I said, so if they won 1 last year and they won 2, you'd be saying the same thing. If they won 2 last year and they won 4, you'd be telling me it's still the same thing. And also, what's the context? Because the context was they were really, really bad. The context wasn't a situation where it was like, you know what, they've been fighting this year and there's been some close games. They just been trying to learn how to win. And have you been feeling like that watching the Bears this year? Because I'll tell you, particularly the first quarter, I was like, these motherfuckers may win 2 games. All right. And in looking at, do you know in how long I've been a Bears fan, right? I have never opened up the year, particularly when they had the type of talent they had on this team. This isn't the same talent that they had in 2018 when we were talking prior to the show. That's not what I'm saying. But you got a quarterback you like. You got brought in DJ Moore. You got some parts on your defense. You did better with your starters on your offensive line. I'm thinking they got to get 6 wins. Easy, right? 7. They're like, man, look, if they take off hot, man, they get 8 wins or something like that easy, right? Something like that, just looking at the schedule or whatever. And knowing that they didn't have a hard schedule after that Green Bay game, dog, I have never felt this type of despair that I felt where I'm like, they don't know nothing. Right? I've never in my life been into that situation where it was like you don't know diddly squat, basically. So for me, when everyone's on these radio stations, I'm not saying everyone because I'm not a burn it down. I love the media people here in Chicago, right? But when everybody's on these stations and they running with this thing where it's like, man, because the defense is playing good, we got to keep them. I just don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe with that one, because the defense, you can get someone to do that, but as your CEO of running your team, has he adequately done that job? And if you tell me yes, I will tell you either you're not paying attention or you're lying to me.
Man, dead on there. And you can even look at the other defenses around the league. And if you're like, okay, if that's his selling point is defense, well, you can find other defensive coordinators like Vic Fangio, Lou Anarumo, or Brian Flores that are doing a better job as defensive coordinators than he's doing as a head coach. And I think that kind of says it all right there. And I couldn't be in more agreement there. I think my only worry with that is he has to hire the right guy.
As a CEO, like Ken said, like the first game of the year after that debacle against Green Bay, when I heard him say, somebody asked him, why wasn't DJ Moore in on one of the red zone opportunities? Oh, I didn't know he wasn't in. Bro, how you not know your best player other than Justin Fields wasn't in at a pivotal point where we needed to score to get some momentum so we can stop the onslaught that Jordan Love and Aaron Jones was putting on our? Like, how do you not know that? Like, that's the first number I'm calling on a slant, by the way, which we haven't seen with no regularity. You know, because Jair Alexander can't hold DJ Moore. Like, no. Like, what are we doing?
I think that goes to show you right there is maybe this job is just a little above Luke Getsy's head, is where, because if he doesn't know that DJ Moore is out there, like I understand players can check themselves out, but he has to see the guys that are on the field. He has to be aware of that when he's calling the play. You're telling me you called a play without knowing if your best receiver is out there. That means he's not trying to get the ball to DJ, because he doesn't even care if he's on the field. So it just shows a level of ineptitude that you think at this level wouldn't exist.
But who else is supposed to know that DJ Moore isn't out there? The head coach.
The head coach, yeah.
That's what timeouts are for, right? Like, whoa. That's how many times have you seen the coordinator do something and the team not being ready, or the coach be like, no, stop. Timeout. No, this ain't right. That's where you supposed, like, both of them are supposed to know, and this goes to something that Will and I was talking about. It's attention to detail. The penalties this year, that's all attention to detail, right? So, and here we go again with, because mine's switching to Eberflus every time we try to do this Getsy thing.
Yeah,
they're one of the most penalized teams. How are you going to tell me they're going to stop doing that? And he's had 2 years and they haven't. Last year, rebuild year, fine, cool. They were supposed to bust their ass this offseason to make sure that they were following the HITS principles, quote unquote, to a T. They are still undisciplined when it comes to focus and detail, right? They give up too many penalties. They open a game with 7 penalties and 75 yards against them automatically damn near now. Every game, they're probably the most penalized team on that day as far as who they're going up against. And that nothing has been done to remedy that. But I'm supposed to believe everything's going to be okay. I'm supposed to believe the same shit that you were doing last year, that you're doing this year, won't happen again next year. Why? Why am I supposed to believe that? You found out how to use Justin last year and totally forgot, right? So next year, you're not going to forget again? Because I got to go off of what you've given me, the experience that I've gotten. So I'll be an idiot if you've been, and this isn't against Matty, I'm not putting this on him, but if you've been stealing from me and I continually give you stuff, like my dad, let me tell you how my daddy raised me, right? I could give Will this envelope and say, Will, put this in the mail for me, right? Will forgot and then put it in an envelope. Do you know who my dad would have blamed for me doing that? He would have blamed me. Yeah. My dad would have said, "You supposed to have taken care of. That's responsibility." That's how I was raised. Where I gave it to somebody else, and I hope they would do it, but I was supposed to take care of it because the buck falls with me.
Correct. So, like in this case, ultimately, Matt Eberflus is responsible. We can bag and rag on Getsy all day, but at the final say so comes from the top. And right now, like it's just not working. It's disjointed. You know, then at the end of the game, like he's starting to be more and more like, hey, the defense is humming, but you're not taking accountability about the offense not humming. You know what I'm saying? Richard Hightower, for the most part, got special teams locked down. And the thing I like about Hightower, when Venus Jones, he fumbled with it, like, or he go down there and get a penalty as the gunner on a play that's on the opposite side of the field that had nothing to do. Like he's calling. Matter of fact, you deactivated the next game. You're not even playing. So if I got a play caller that's not doing his job, man, you fired. What are we talking about? This has been consistent at this point. Nothing's gonna change in the next 5 games because there's been an inability within the game, situational play calling. We haven't seen it all year. So you can't sit here and tell me over the next 5 games, and I hope I'm wrong, that we're going to see it. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I've seen enough.
That point.
All of us have seen enough. It's time to move on.
That kind of brings it to it. I mean, the coaching, it's clear there's a lot of ineptitude right now. And having another coaching change at the end of this season would be probably a nightmare for Justin Fields and his chances of staying in Chicago. So, Ken, I wanted to ask you, sitting here today, we're in year 3 of Justin Fields' contract. This is going into year 4. You already told me pre-show how you feel on this, but I kind of want to get your thoughts for the fans. What's your confidence level in Justin Fields, and what do you hope happens with him going forward?
I have confidence in Justin. There's still some things that Justin has to clean up. I'm not going to sit here and act like Justin doesn't hold on to the ball. I'm not going to sit here and act like sometimes he doesn't see guys that are open. I'd be a liar if I say that. But I know that looking at the clay that Justin is, there's a lot there that could benefit teams. And as I said to you, I'm team free Justin. I've seen the Bears be a burial ground for quarterbacks' careers. And the last thing I want is a kid that I wanted the Bears to draft. I remember on me and my partner, Ryan, on that Davis show, we would talk about how, man, the Bears aren't going to be bad enough to draft Justin because this is before the pandemic. It was clear Justin was going to be the second pick because everybody was going to go with Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence at Clemson and Clemson did what they did to Alabama. Right, like that's still like, especially those Alabama teams. The same way we were talking about Watson before the show kicked off. Like, if you do that to them, it's like you a bad MF. You know, just like what C.J. Stroud did to Georgia last year. When C.J. Stroud did that to Georgia, I said that mug right there, right? Like, whoa, right? Shorty wasn't running all year, and then was like, "Oh, y'all don't think I got these wheels? I'm gonna let you know." And throwing it all over the field on that Georgia team that went back-to-back national titles, you almost knocked them out. The CFP, you know what I'm saying? I want Justin to have a great legacy. I don't know if he can have it here, and I know we don't do quarterback legacies well here. So then people will be like, "Yeah, Ken, but if you talk about drafting another quarterback, then how's that going to change?" Well, one, that kid has a clean slate that Justin does not have here. The waters have been muddied by Justin. We saw how we went to Bagent mania this year. That's not a shot at Tyson Bagent. It's the shot at the people that were getting crazy, right? Where it's just
lots of them.
Yeah, you got a real nice, capable backup. Like, look, he got 3 years on his deal. If Tyson Bagent did exactly what he was supposed to do, you get a backup to go 500 for you on your team
and can run the offense.
Yeah, you get somebody that can. So we not out. So if we were a really good team, due to Tyson Bagent's play, it wouldn't have knocked us out of the playoff losing our quarterback, which knocks a lot of teams out of the playoffs if they lose their quarterback, since the whole system is built around that quarterback and his preferences or whatever. But I mean, for me, I want to see what's best for Justin. If they find a great coach and he wants to keep Justin, I wouldn't be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? But you also have to look at the fact that this year 4 for Justin when that new coach gets here or new coordinator gets here, right? First, if you keep Matt Eberflus, what reputable offensive coordinator is going to say, I want to go on that team with the coach on the hot seat? I was telling Will, that's how you ended up with Sean Desai, your defensive coordinator, when Chuck Picano left, because nobody was going to come in here when everybody knew Matt Nagy was on his last chance and come in for a year and get their ass kicked out with Matt Nagy. So how are you going to sit there and now what you're going to promote Andrew Janocko up to be the offensive coordinator? And it's like, so come on now, that all that first timey stuff where it's even different if we're saying you're going to bring in another offensive coordinator, but at least let him be a guy that's called plays before if you're going to keep Matt Eberflus here or not. But I want what's best for Justin Swift. And here, I same thing I said to Dave Wannstedt on the Under Center podcast as far as Matt Eberflus. Sometimes I feel like it's too much water under the bridge. Will he get a true chance? Like even here, will he get a real true chance as far as Justin? Because now you got another you got a GM that didn't draft him, right? Now you're bringing in another coach that didn't draft him, right? And that coach is going to want to swim. He is not going. If he comes in here and it's like, yo, I don't know. He going to do the eject button as quick as possible to save his life so he can get another quarterback. So he has an opportunity, the same as Ryan Poles is going to do when his ass is on the hot seat. It's like, yo, eject on the head coach. So for me, when you mention the contract is an issue. Like, and I get it, everybody. We're used to Justin. I love me some Justin Fields. And I'm always going to have some love in my heart for Justin Fields, for his character, for how hard he plays, the athletic specimen that he is. I think he's a really good young man too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to root for Justin Fields, but I would love to see him in a competent offense that is tailored to him, with coaches that truly and utterly believe in him to the utmost and put him in advantageous situations consistently throughout the ball game. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't seen that here. So some people would take it like, man, you dissing. I'm not dissing him. I work at the facility and I got the key. I can open the door. Just run, dog. Just run. Right? Don't look back. All right. Just don't
get out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, hey, Ken, look, some of you said earlier, and it caught me when you was talking about the whole backup situation. Every team wants a capable backup because I watched that game Monday night, Cincinnati versus Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Browning threw for 357, couple touchdowns, and I haven't heard one coach, one media outlet in Cincinnati saying Browning should replace Joe Burrow.
No.
Oh, Joe Burrow needs to
watch that though.
Joe Burrow needs to watch what Browning was doing.
Yeah. Right. I haven't heard that one time. So I said,
you know what he had? He's a guy who was just a journeyman in the NFL.
Yes.
Been in the league 6-7 years, but he's been in that system for 4 years behind Joe Burrow. Yes. And sometimes that's what you need out of a backup. Imagine Tyson Bagent in 4 years, he's going to be a really dang good backup, I think. So,
but Swift, that's the way it should go. You know, like if your star quarterback, your starting quarterback gets hurt, you should have a capable quarterback. Like we had Chase Daniels, and I wasn't a Chase Daniel fan, but I was at the Giants game where we was losing 27-17, and as me and my boy left, we heard the crowd screaming. It was 27-27. This was back in 2018 when they went 12-4.
Oh, you left early?
It was like 3 minutes left. I'm like, I'm out. I'm gonna beat the traffic. And they came back and won, but it wasn't because of Chase Daniel. It was because of Tariq Cohen hitting Anthony Miller. And then, of course, they lost in overtime. And then the game against the Dolphins, because of Mitch, we should have won. Went to that one. We could have won. Like, we haven't had the style of quarterback with like a Justin Fields that can put us in position as a dual threat to take advantage of these mismatches, bro. We haven't, like, Justin can read a defense, cover 1, cover 3, cover 4, cover 2. He can read a defense, but you got to have wide receivers that, one, get into their position. You know, nothing against Cole Kmet, but, bro, at 5'10", 170, I can always position my body if I'm going to fight up for the ball. If I didn't get it, it was an incomplete pass. When I'm at the Denver Broncos game and I see him anticipating to play the Cole Kmet in the fourth quarter, what happened? A 5'9" corner boxed him out and got an interception. So it's things like that people never put the spotlight on when they say in the fourth quarter he shrinks. Nah, it's a team game. It's a team concept. Bad coaching. You got him running play action with his back turned to 2 rushing. So you gotten so used to him being so athletic and just look like no, like you're putting him in bad positions, and that's the stuff that people with unrealistic expectations sit here and pile on to the kid, and you get mad at him for fumbling the ball, but he's trying to make a play because the supporting cast around him that's in the game at the time. You know, you got Eberflus Jones, you got Tyler Scott. Okay, I remember he hit Tyler Scott on the bubble screen. Tyler Scott dropped it. Like, think about it. Those are clutch plays, clutch timing, and you ain't got DJ Moore in the game. You ain't got Moon in the game. So he got to make do with what he have. And then if he don't feel like, okay, I hit Dante Pettis last year, drop.
I mean, that's the thing is there's a lot of bad things that have happened to him, but it's like at this point, like Ken said, how do we go forward though? What's the best point at this point? Because we are Chicago. We shouldn't be second nature. Kenneth said it a little bit ago. Why are we always getting offensive coordinators who have never successfully called plays in the NFL? Why are we getting first-time head coaches? And how do we fix this going forward? What do you think? We have to clean house here with Ryan Poles too? I have a lot of faith in Ryan Poles. I think with the first-round draft pick and future capital he has and flexibility he's put in this team, as well as all the young guys he's brought in and talent on the roster, I have a lot of faith in Poles. But I think it comes down to if he doesn't fix this coaching staff, that's on him. What's your faith level with Poles?
Like it starts with coaching at the end of the day. You could bring in Caleb Williams, you could bring in Jaden Daniels. If we got this same coaching staff, guess what? They're going to be combat ineffective. Like there's no other way around it. Like me, hey, get rid of this coaching staff. Bring in somebody that can take Justin's skill set to the next level. Trade those picks because Washington, they're going to be looking for a quarterback. They got a new investment group in charge of Washington. They want a new quarterback. The Patriots want a new quarterback. The Giants, they're going to be looking at a new quarterback. So we got teams that we can wheel and deal and get not only draft capital, but get some players and some trades well that can also come in and augment some of these deficiencies that we have. So the beautiful part about where we are right now, we got flexibility. But with that flexibility, you got to have the right people in charge to make the right decision. But then you got to have the right coaches in place to cultivate the talent and gel it, where in week 10, we're just not coming together when we should have had, because next year we're going to end up playing another last place schedule again, it looks like. So, like this year, I'm like, man, I said 12-5. And woe is me. I'm sitting here like, I'm looking at the schedule. If Justin plays and we don't have a lot of injuries, but then right out of preseason, the whole line was injured. So when I'm sitting here like this year, we got to make sure we draft linemen that can supplant as good depth pieces. So if we have this problem again next year, we can plug and play in areas that are deficient. But also, we need more playmakers. We need a wide receiver to an X. We need a tight end that can get open down the seam. We need that we can rely and depend on. I don't care how much speed you got if you can't catch the ball. I don't care how big you are as a tight end if you can't block on the line.
Right. I don't have the same amount of faith as you do, Swift.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you,
I saw his face.
I'm gonna tell you why. It's because I'm at an age where I know not to trust everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I don't root for Ryan Pace. Like I was all in on Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles, right? I'm like, yes, do this. But it's the problem when everybody's starting a new job in a position they've never had before. All of us are learning on the job. Somebody got to have known what they're doing before. Yeah. All right. Like, because that's a lot of mistakes, y'all, regardless of if they're doing it well or not. That's a learning curve for when you're talking about your coordinators are first timers, your head coach a first timer, your general manager is a first timer. That's a large learning curve you put yourself under. He's missed. He's lied. All general managers lie. So I don't want to take that like that. But as far as you got to battle for your position, but you give Braxton Jones that job. You got to battle for your position, but you give Darnell Wright. And the Darnell Wright giving, I can understand that. He was a first round pick, but you've talked about guys have to earn it, but you play with Tevin Jenkins' emotions, right? and he's still your best old lineman, but you play with his emotions like it's a toy, right? Because you didn't draft him. You know what I'm saying? You give Velus every opportunity. You keep Dominic Robinson on this roster, and he's a trick guy that you're trying to see if he can transition to a defensive lineman. And you let guys walk who maybe you didn't like how they set the edge when it comes to the run game, but you knew y'all can't pressure the quarterback. There's no way in hell Travis Gibson shouldn't be on this team.
Yeah.
Same for Terrell Lewis. And the Saints know, like you what? Y'all you didn't have a defensive lineman to get 3 sacks last year. How are you giving away guys that's flashing and showing you maybe they can do it situationally?
They were our two best pass rushers in preseason, period.
Let alone if you put them properly. Now, think about them on this team. If you got Yannick Ngakoue and Montez Sweat, and they coming off the bench, all right? They only playing 20 snaps. So they fresh all the time when they come up in that back.
They're going to be flying, ears pinned back.
Oh, the offensive linemen are tired. Like, but you're so hung up on proving that you're right with all these other guys that these guys you should still have on this roster because you lacked depth. You lack guys that can get to the QB, and that's the name of the damn game in the NFL. So it's not that I don't think he can be a good general manager. It's just pro personnel wise. The Tremaine Edmonds signing has not came out well yet. All right, I'm not gonna blame him from Yannick Ngakoue because we all opined for Yannick Ngakoue all offseason. We got him. This is what we get, right? Like that's why nobody had him sign his ass. So that's not a Ryan Poles thing right there. You underutilize like at the beginning of the year. This isn't a Poles thing to a degree, but you know he wants to see his guys out there. I never understood the beginning of the season. I was like, and I was on different shows, some like Nomads and everybody else, and we're talking about Andrew Billings being more than just a run stopper. Okay. You saw when at the beginning of the year, it's like this big boy is pushing that damn pocket, and then they wouldn't even have him out there. And it's like, out there. What out there? So and again, I can't necessarily put that on Poles, but Poles has made some pro personnel decisions that necessarily haven't worked out. As Nomad now saying, he can draft DBs, but guess what? You need a lot more in the NFL out of just the defensive backs. Right. You know what I'm saying? He can draft DBs. You told me, and this is the last part. You told me when you gave Braxton Jones the most important position on offensive line, left tackle. You told me, man, I'll find these mugs anywhere I find them out because that's how I do it. That's what he said, right? But then he had to go spend the 10th pick, the 10th pick in the draft to go get a right tackle, the lesser position of the tackles. But you telling me that this 5th round pick out of a smaller school, like so, it's like which one is it? And again, it could be both can be true, which they are. I'm part of it right there. I'm just being an ass, but still. You're telling me that you can find these offensive linemen. How many offensive linemen? And this is I'll take down there right out because that's where they drafted them. All right. But how many of these offensive linemen that he's drafted, he and Andy Cunningham were former offensive linemen, have panned out? Braxton Jones has been adequate, but it's sometimes undisciplined, and we know that he can get beat. All right. You look at it, Doug Kramer never became anybody. Jatari Carter never became anybody. The bringing in off of waivers, Alex Leatherwood was a waste of time and capital because you were paying for him as the where he was drafted in that slot out of his draft class. It hasn't worked. Dog, the whole Lucas. This is funny thing too. Last year, Josh Rock joined our show after Adam Hogue left to go to CHGO, and one of the first shows that me and him did together live, we were talking about Lucas Patrick, and I said to him, this may have been after the show. I said, you know what, man? People keep talking about this Lucas Patrick, man. He was a backup. They make it seem like 17 games, this dude's going to be somebody. You don't know that he was a backup. And I said, and another thing, too, people keep acting like Cody Whitehair ain't going to get caught up by Father Time. And Father Time yanked his ass up like it was nobody's business, right? And I said this to him just when he got here last year. This was last season. I said this. And both of them, Cody was getting beat on every stunt he saw last year, all right? And Lucas Patrick never played. So he played center and played for 3 seconds and got injured. It was out the remainder of the year. And at guard, he was trash. All right, the worst trash of trash. Right. So that still falls on Ryan Poles, right? Your evaluation. Remember all the tape that he watched when he got? I've been watching tape. The tape has been watched. Well, I don't know what tape you watching, because some of this stuff, and I don't get paid what you get paid. I saw coming down the road and was like, yo, you better look out for that right there, buddy.
Now, I will give him credit with how bad our roster was.
Yeah,
our roster was, when he inherited it, it was bad. It was old, overpaid, and a lot of bad on there. And I think now he hasn't completely filled up everything, but you did make some great points there with the offensive lineman. Yeah, I do think Braxton Jones has the elite traits to be a top 10 tackle in the NFL.
Whoa.
Oh, when you see him move.
Can I get that? Can I get some of that?
Yeah. When you see him move in space, I mean, there's great offensive line people out there who will say the same thing. He's one of the best run blockers in the league as far as tackles. He's one of the best. He gets his paws on you and he's moving you. He's also athletic enough to do it at the second level and dominate linebackers and safeties as well. His biggest issue, his one issue was
the main issue is the main. Guess what I would prefer? If you tell me this, if you be like, yo, he can either pass block or run block. Which one do you think I want in this modern day?
Well,
this modern day NFL
pass block though. His issue was sinking and anchoring.
Yeah, that's pass block.
I mean,
see the thing, because let me know, Swift. That was nice. I like how you tried to do that, right? All right, anybody that's played football. Let's this is because it's a secret. Most of us guys kind of know. And in high school, I played a little O-line. I was a defensive player. I played some O-line. It's a thing that we always say. Stop letting those O-linemen just go backwards. Let them get some fun and go at somebody. Then what you're saying. So he gets to go, when he gets a chance to go brutalize somebody in the run game, he does that well, right? But the most important part in football is protecting the quarterback. And if you're telling me he can't anchor, and as Will was telling me, looking at his backside, and that he has no anchor back. And the crazy thing, I didn't even go into his depth. First of all, I'm a huge Tookins dude as far as no, for real, because it's so much momentum you can generate if you have a backside. Like for instance, like I used to always talk about, and this is a different sport, in baseball. Part of the reason that Randy Johnson had back problems because he was flat as his board in the backside. He had nothing. It's the momentum that when you're coming with it, let alone it's that muscle that's back there. But if you're saying he has how do you gain it when there's nothing back there to be gained? I don't know if he goes to Brazil, and I'm joking, but still, it's just to me. This is when we start getting, and this isn't a you thing, Swift. This is where we over-evaluate our guys. To where we're saying at this point now, he's in the second year, that you think Braxton Jones can be a top 10 left tackle. I have not seen that, let alone how can it possibly happen? Even if physically he improves, mentally, he has lapses that have shut down so many offensive series. All right, Braxton Jones will get a false start and get a hold on the next play. You'd be like, well, this is a wrap. It's second and 17, right? Like it's like and we know we can't, like unless Justin does something miraculous, we know we done right there. Right?
I ripped Braxton apart for that. Those were his two biggest mistakes as a Bear. But that's the guy who played every single snap last year and didn't do anything like that. He has more penalties in 4 games this year than he did all of last year. So
I'm not taking that away. I want him here. Yeah. I don't know if I want him to be this clear-cut starter like that. Like that's
I'm all for competition.
That's left tackle. Yeah. That's left tackle, right? You don't play with left tackle unless your quarterback's a righty. I mean a lefty, but you don't dilly-dally with left tackle where it's his blind side. Dog, do you know how much? And again, this was his rookie year. I'll give it to Braxton. You haven't seen it as much. Do you know the play or? Do you know the formation or movement, I should say, the movement that Justin did so much last year after hike on pass plays? He would hike, come out, and have to go all the way around left like that. Braxton's guy had beat.
You talking about the
because Braxton guy had beat his ass, right? Yeah. It was always right.
Look, watch that Washington game though, when Braxton was hurt and Larry Bourne played left tackle. He did the same thing.
I ain't got no faith in Larry Bourne.
But I mean, if you watch him this year, after the year that he had in the offseason, a year in a strength and conditioning group the Chicago Bears professional weight room, not Southern Utah. And you
Great
watch
point.
him this year one-on-one against the pass rushers he's faced. He's win against Aiden Hutchinson. He's had a bunch of great matchups this year, Danielle Hunter in Minnesota, and his anchor has looked much, much better. So I know people, it was a running joke last year. I talked about it almost every week that he had no anchor. He was bull rush, and he talked about it in training camp. And I said then it was a big mistake. You don't tell everyone what your biggest weakness is. NFL dudes are going to exploit that, and they did. They did it every game. They would just send bull rushes at him every play. But it's not that he can't pass block. He has the athleticism, the length, the mean, heavy hands, and the grip to be an elite pass protector. His weakness is the anchor, but there's more to just anchoring and pass blocking. At the tackle position, you got to have those long arms. You got to have that athleticism, and his footwork and intelligence. I know you. I feel like you kind of took a shot at. I feel like he's a smart guy.
You slick. You're a slick one. You're
what I do.
But okay, so let me counter that. And everything, your points are valid. But you're drafting for length at left tackle, so of course he's going to have long arms. Of course he's going to be athletic because it's left tackle for the most part. Unless you could just envelop somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be able to be the strongest enveloper ever to not be an athletic left tackle in this NFL that we are experiencing right now.
But I think I'm not just saying he's athletic. If you go through and look at all the left tackles in the NFL and look at their size, arm length, and relative athletic scores, he's an elite. He's top 3 to 5 in the league. He's not just a guy who's athletic with long arms. He has super long arms, super big hands, and a ton of athleticism.
I can't just razz. I can't razz everything in my NFL because now you're razzing me, right? And it's like, you can't just razz everything because you can be the best looking left tackle ever when I look at you physically. And am I trying to take? I like him as a person. I really, really, really like his character. I just need a whole nother level for me to say left tackle is straight. That's where I'm at. I'll end it right there. I just need before I'm like, man, they don't need a left tackle. I'm not gonna come on here and be like, man, they just say straight at left.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I've said it too. It's such an important position that he has to prove it. I haven't said he's proved it, and he is a top 10 tackle. But when I watch him on tape, I'll see stretches of play for 3 or 4 drives in a row, half a game even, where he's dominating Pro Bowl caliber players on the other side of the ball in the pass and the run. Outside of his horrible penalties this year, he's been awful with the false starts. That's something that you nailed dead on the head. He's false starts have killed us. And to have a false start and then a hold on the next play, I would have set his ass on the bench right then. But everybody makes mistakes in the NFL. I'm not gonna knock his whole season of tape for 4 or 5 penalties. When what I've seen on him, it's not just the athleticism and the size and the long arms. That translates in tape when you see him on the second level, dominating linebackers, dominating safeties. If you watch any of our screenplays that have worked this year, almost every time Braxton is out in front leading it. If it's not Tevin pancaking someone, it's Braxton. I see a lot of really good play. But you're right. I'm not to the level where I'm saying we don't need a left tackle, but I am to the level where if he keeps playing this way the rest of the year, I don't know if I'm looking for a left tackle next year, especially not in our top 3 to 5 needs on the roster.
And I have no problem with that. I'll say this. He's one of the only few borderline people that I will give you that, where let's see how the rest of his year kind of goes out. But the thing is, good left tackles go high in the draft. They go high in the draft. And you may only have one chance to really cement that position, and he may not take that next step. And them talking to you as Ryan Poles, because you've already fallen in love with this young man, may sit there and have a biasness that may cost you later down the line. That's really what I guess my warning would be with Ryan Poles when it comes to Braxton. I want Braxton on this football team. And this is unfair to him, Braxton. If you ever hear this, it is unfair. But I don't know if this is you being a swing tackle or being a left tackle. I would hope, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a nice person. Ever since Braxton Jones has been in the Bears uniform, I felt like he speaks the truth. I'm very hard on myself. I think Braxton Jones, you could tell, is very hard on himself, right?
I think
like
so.
My guys, every time they talk to him in the locker room, even if he has a big game, Alex and Josh, he's in there kicking his own ass, talking about, nah, I did this, I did that, I did that. I really like his character a whole lot. I would love if he could become that guy and be that story as far as being that. I'm just saying he hasn't done it yet. And I don't know if you can continue to wait for him to do it with the draft capital you have in this upcoming draft.
And you brought it right there. And I think that's the biggest point is we do have those 2 first-round picks next year. A lot of people just want to talk about quarterback, but the other biggest premium position would be left tackle. And the name going around is Caleb Williams, but Olu Fashanu, the left tackle from Penn State, is a monster and possibly a generational talented tackle. So that question is going to be answered this offseason with Ryan Poles. Does he think Braxton Jones the guy? And we'll figure that out. But let's move on next to now Justin Fields. Is when you look at the quarterbacks in college, we talked briefly a little bit earlier about what we saw in Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes and these guys in college. Have you watched these quarterbacks in college yet? And because for me, I've watched about 6 games of all 22 on Drake May and 12 games on Caleb Williams. And I don't see the same level of elevating their team of talent that I saw from some of those quarterbacks in the past. Are you on that level that you think we should draft a quarterback? Or
I'm on the level it has to be an option.
Okay.
I'm on the level where you can't say and just take it off the board.
Never.
I'm on the level that if this team, like, okay, you just said you have faith in Ryan Poles. You said you had the utmost faith in Ryan Poles, right?
I did. I said it.
So in having that, this is the question I have for you, Swift.
Mm-hmm.
If you have this faith in Ryan Poles, would you want him to draft the quarterback that he desires, reset the clock so that he does not have to pay that quarterback another 5 years, and on top of all the cap money that the Bears have, they're going to have extra space because they don't have to pay a quarterback $50 million a year until, 2029? You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And so you could really have this team set up to really dominate it because you're about to pay Justin if you keep Justin. And again, I'm not taking it and be like, man, get rid of Justin. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying if you have that faith in Ryan Poles that he can get it right, I would want him to have as much options on anything. But also that could be trading down and getting more first-round picks in the future. I'll say this. I know there's a lot of angst towards a young man that plays at SC. I get it. One, that is not Ohio State. All right. That is a SC trying to get back to being SC. That's not even SC that was under what's his name in Seattle?
Carroll. Yeah.
Pete Carroll. That's not Reggie Bush SC right now.
Not Matt Lyon.
All right. They're not there. They're not there. All right. The defense is trash. All right. Like literally trash. And what ended up being perhaps the second or first strongest conference in his last year in existence in college football this year. Who knew the Pac-12 with all those quarterbacks was going to do what they did this season? All right, the Pac-12 was balling on their way out.
Yeah.
Right?
Even UCLA, they got a true freshman quarterback. He's played well, Dante Moore.
And he said deuces. But let me get to that portal. Yeah. But the thing is, guys, I always, anytime I hear hype over a college player, I come into it thinking like, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Right. That's how I never come in like, yeah, I'm sure he is like that. I never, when Adrian Peterson was at Oklahoma, I was like, motherfucker, some of this kid can be in the pros. Let me, damn, he should go straight to the pros, right? This is not Maurice Clarett. This boy right here is a stud.
Not Maurice Clarett. I love it.
When I remember just sticking here to the city, when Florida under Billy Donovan was blowing up that year, the first year. And I remember just seeing this kid, Joe Kim Knowles, like this whole weirdo kid or whatever. Let me go watch him. His awkward ass. I see him and Al Horford grabbing the rebound, starting leading the break. I'm like, whoa, both they bigs lead the break? Right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? I'm like, these kids is nice, right? I'm like, I want Joe Kim, but Horford nicer than him, right? But I wanted Joe, right? I wanted Joe, but Horford was nicer, right? And that's how I always enter anything. So in saying that, One of my co-hosts on Under Center podcast, Alex, is a SC alum. So Alex has been talking about Caleb Williams the last couple of years or whatever. You know, even with him being in Oklahoma and leaving Oklahoma, going there with Lincoln Riley. So this year I said, okay, I'm gonna watch this kid. Well, I'm gonna watch this BS, right? And these people talking about he like baby goat. You know what I'm saying? Especially I'm a Patrick Mahomes guy. I'm like,
that's the thing, yeah.
I'm like, when I hear that, I'm enraged, right? When I hear any of that, I'm like, I know this can't work out. Okay, let me turn this on. Yeah. He was running out of bounds and he threw that. Well, whoa, that right there, right? The problem with Justin has it's on time plays, the on time plays. But I'm gonna tell you this. I mean, I can even say this about, and I didn't watch Texas Tech football like that, but I can say this about Patrick Mahomes. I don't know, guys, if I ever seen a college player throw off platform shots like the throws like Caleb Williams. And I don't mean that like throw. You could say
got
throws
special arm
like,
talent. I'll say that his arm talent.
You could say throw. You could say throws where it's like, oh, he gives him a chance. No, it's not a chance. He's not throwing it with I hope you get it. This dude can be falling on his back. He's throwing it like a dime that's being dropped from Magic Johnson to the Coupe de Loop. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, so for me, I don't know if I can just be like, forget that. I'm just being straight up. He's not as fast as Justin, but he's mobile. He's not as tall as Justin. And I'm gonna tell you this, I got a new rule, and I'm gonna make an exception for Caleb. You got to at least be damn near 6'2". I'm really wanting to be 6'3".
He's not.
He's 6'1" and a half. Yeah, he's
I don't
6'1"
think
and a
so.
half.
I wait for the combine on this. I think he's going to test in at 6 foot or under.
I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. Just looking at him around his teammates, it seems like he's probably 6'1". He's probably 6'1". But first of all, I wouldn't have drafted. I think outside of him being immature, Kyler Murray is crazy to watch. But I would have never drafted Kyler Murray.
Same.
That's just me. I have a rule where it's like I can't go that low. And look, that's what I was going. Roll Tide all day in this house. I'm not drafting Bryce Young, and that's with the pre-snap ability that Bryce Young showed at Alabama, which was rare air to know what was going to happen pre-snap and post-snap. Because to me, height becomes an issue. But I don't know if I can just say no to Caleb Williams, and I don't care if
his size is under 6 foot. Does that change your opinion?
Yes, it would.
Okay,
totally.
That's it.
But I'll tell you, he's not under 6 feet. I promise you.
Okay.
That. If you would like to put some coin on it, I'm willing.
He said, "I'm willing. I'm willing." Right. I want to. I do it under 6'1". I'd say I almost guarantee he checks in under.
No,
6'1".
you said 6 feet.
No,
so I'm
saying
taking
I think there's a chance he comes in under 6 feet.
Okay.
I would say his max right now is probably about 6'1.5". And I'd say he's between 6'1.5" and about 5'11".
I don't think it's a chance he comes in under 6 feet.
Okay.
I don't think it's a chance.
Well, so you made a ton of great points there, though. So with Ryan Poles, if you look around the NFL right now, when it goes to building teams, almost the only two teams, there's a few teams out there got quarterbacks that went number 1 overall. The Lions, Jared Goff, but they didn't draft him. The Bengals, Joe Burrow. You got a few of them out there. And then Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence, the recent ones. But when you look around the NFL at the landscape, the model of success is to build in the trenches and add talent on your team and then find a quarterback. And you got teams that draft quarterbacks in the 2nd round, the 3rd round, 49ers, the 7th round. But if you just look at the successful teams in the NFL, the 49ers, they tried it. They drafted Trey Lance. They traded 3 first-round picks to get a guy who had all the tools and hype. And then they end up starting Brock Purdy. Or you got teams like the Cowboys who have a 3rd-round pick in Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts a 2nd-round pick in Philadelphia. Even guys like Josh Allen, who was passed over in the draft for other quarterbacks, and Lamar Jackson.
Which I wouldn't have done. I told Hub Arkish that year on my show at the time, Josh Allen was my guy, and all he wanted to talk to me about was Baker Mayfield. And I was like, okay, exactly. Give me that Josh Allen kid up there, South Dakota, wherever the hell he was. I was like,
and there's thoughts about that this year. If you watch Jaden Daniels in LSU, like there's some special guys out there where it's like, why wouldn't we first? Well, no, go ahead.
You are slick. You, sir, are extremely. You, boy, have a future, sir. I don't mean to call you a boy. You have a future. You are nice. You're nice with yours. All right, so I'm gonna put the button in that real quick. You know what is the common denominator in everything you just said? Phenomenal play callers. So
Okay.
you're talking about the head coach now that was with Philadelphia last year, right? You're talking about maybe the best play caller in the NFL in Kyle Shanahan, right? So when you keep talking about, okay, this guy was picked here, you're talking about Brian Dable before he leaves to go to the Giants, because there's been a regression when you're talking about a Josh Allen. So yes, if you have a phenomenal offensive mind, they can do the things that you said. But what about the teams that don't have phenomenal offensive mind? And I actually root for one here in Chicago. So I don't know.
Is there a team without a great play caller, though, that also doesn't have great talent? Because, I mean, even look at the Dolphins. Mike McDaniels was unproven. It was his first year. He's calling plays now, and he has Tua and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert and Devin Achane, and he has one of the best offenses in the NFL.
Dude, Mike McDaniels is one of the smartest.
I'm a huge fan of Mike McDaniels. He's
genius. One of the smart. He's a genius, even though I won't get into some of my Mike McDaniels speech.
Okay, if he was here, how much success would he be having?
If he was here, there wouldn't be a question that Justin Fields was going to be the quarterback move. Because one, you know what he would have done? He would have built the offense around Justin. He would have used Justin's weapons. And also he would have found a way to take advantage and to keep the growth going in Justin, to get Justin to where he wanted to do, to fully run the offense that he wants to run. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike McDaniels was on the radar.
Better example. Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. They don't have as much talent, but he's a great play caller.
They don't have talent. They don't have talent where? It may not be seasoned.
They don't have as much talent as the top teams like the Eagles and the 49ers and the Cowboys and the Chiefs.
Okay, wait. They're just a tier down. Look about all those first round picks they spent on defense.
They got
then think about that. They got receivers. They just young. You know what I'm saying? Like they got one of them's been hurt. They got a tandem in the backfield, right? The only thing you can say about them is that the left tackle's been out. But like that's why some of us was like, yo, watch out Green Bay this year. Because they lost Aaron Rodgers, but they had talent. You were looking at it with Rashad Gary could stay healthy. Like they had talent. It was just, will it work out?
But you're also making the point there though, because they got talent, and look how Jordan Love looks when he's playing.
Okay, let me point back at you because you said this twice. But guess where Jordan Love was drafted? In the first round.
At the end of the first round, though.
But I agree, but still, when your point was, and I know you tried to tweak it with Josh Allen, but your point was using later rounds to find quarterbacks. No, and we were still
I think it's my point that I was trying to make was that the number one pick and the number one quarterback, and taking a quarterback in the top 2 or 3, which is what most fans want us to do here, is a sure thing. When in reality, if you look back in history, there's way more busts in the top 3 at quarterback than there are hits. And if you look around the NFL, even if you get a guy number 1 overall, like Trevor Lawrence, like it doesn't guarantee that he's going to be one of the best in the NFL. You need to surround all quarterbacks with talent. Look at Andrew Luck. He was the most perfect prospect I've ever seen.
But they got him beat. They beat him to death.
Exactly. You have to have the trenches built before a quarterback can succeed. Because even if you're the best prospect in the world, like Andrew Luck, if you don't have the talent around you, you're not going to succeed.
But okay, push back on that. They ended up getting one of the best offensive lines, and he was just tired of football. Also, coming from where he came from. As far as he didn't grow up in a impoverished situation. Poor, so he could be like, you know what? I can walk away from this because it's not going to affect my kids to where they're not, you know what I'm saying, compared to some of us where it's like, yo, I got to get my brain beat in because this is generations, the only thing I can do for my family. But you look at Andrew Luck, you look at a Cam Newton. Like, I think nowadays, like, yeah, when you're in the draft and only Kenny Pickett's in the draft, when you're in the draft and it's a Christian Potter and a Block Bortles, yeah, I'm with you. But when you in this year's draft, and I'm not the biggest Drake May guy, but they're like, let's, and I like the Jaden Daniels thing that you said, because I think Jaden Daniels can mess around and be the best out of all of them. Perhaps they got the crazy thing about this year. This is why you may not be able to skip this year's draft. This year's draft has a variety of quarterbacks for your liking. You may say, you know what, I can keep Michael Penix Jr. upright. I like how he moves the ball around the field. I'm gonna go get him. You could be a Bo Nix guy. You could wait around and I'm not saying these are not mine.
No,
You could be a JJ. I'm gonna take JJ McCarthy in the second or third round. But this year you got guys out there that you can be like, yo, it's some guys out there. So I don't know if value-wise you can do that. And also, see, this is the thing too, but you just told me Braxton Young was gonna be top 10.
I said he.
I'm joking. But my point still is with your trenches, we're saying the trenches is starting to build. They need to build depth, and also if they're not going to take a left tackle, there's no other first round positions damn near on the line. You better get that guard and that center in the second and third round. Because if you out here going, man, we out here about to spend this first round pick on a guard, I'm like, whoa, so is it Hutchinson? Because they're like, what? Like you, and plus, Ryan Post, you told me you could find these guys in the Jules parking lot because you the master of offensive linemen or whatever. I just think that if you have a chance to get a generational talent,
Marvin
and I
Harrison
think
Jr.
There could be
it is.
No. I'm not against Marvin
he's
Harrison Jr. The only issue is this. Only I feel like the last 5 years are we starting to see teams with the best receivers in the league actually win titles. So I'm talking about like Jamar Chase. I'm talking about, and we didn't think when he was with Kansas City he was the best, but a Tyreek Hill. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like, and think about it, when we were growing up, how many titles did Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, and Terrell Owens win? Steve Smith Sr.? How many titles did any of usually it having the best
Marvin
receiver
Harrison won one, but
yeah, but he had
I think part of that is the NFL's changed though. The rules have changed for wide receivers to have more success with the illegal contact calls. It's going to more of a passing league, so
there's more receivers. This is a nice receiver draft.
I think it's a special wide receiver draft.
Right. So to me, I don't know.
To me, when it's talking generational talent, there's one guy. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. because the quarterbacks are always a crapshoot. I don't think unless you were saying Caleb Williams is up there with Andrew Luck, and to me, he's not. He's a few tiers below. He's there.
I don't think he's a few tiers below. If you want to say he's a tier below, because also you're talking about him at Stanford with Jim Harbaugh calling the plays.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody saying Lincoln Riley's no Jim Harbaugh. You know what I'm saying? Like those Stanford teams. Well, I'm not saying like they were blockbusters, but he had them well fitted. Believe that.
So, he had everything. He had the size. He had the
I'm with you. The size, the physicality, all of it. But also going to what your point was, the rule changes also benefit quarterbacks because you don't take the beating. They can't touch you as well as they used to touch you. So back in the days where you needed a guy that was bigger, it's not as essential now because they can't put the punishment on you, particularly if you're not going to sit there and become a running back and allow them to take those hits on you that mobile quarterbacks sometimes unnecessarily do. I'm not against it. It's just, I don't know with the pieces that you need, if you have to do it, it would be interesting to see them do it because I do think you need another primary receiver on the opposite side of DJ Moore, and he should probably be a rangier guy since DJ Moore is somewhat of a smaller receiver, just to be able to have that catch radius guy to go along with you. But it's just, I don't know. If they keep Justin, I wouldn't be upset with them doing that. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't upset me if they we stay the quarterback. We're going to give Justin this weapon. We're going to look to either go in the trenches and get a 3 technique or a left tackle, depending on where they feel about Braxton Jones. It wouldn't upset me. It's just, I don't know how many times I have seen, and I think he will be one of the better receivers in the league, factor in when it comes to winning a title. Also, his comp is AJ Green. Listen, AJ Green was straight. He was really good. But I never was just like, yo, all hands on deck. You got to get you some AJ Green. Again, he was pretty good. I'm not saying he won't be better. I think he will have a better career than AJ Green. I think some of this also plays out with how Ryan Day misused him. Yeah. I felt like, man, Marvin Harrison Jr., if he went to some other schools, it would have been ridiculous.
I just
numbers
think
that he
he's
would
the
put up.
guy. And I think no matter what quarterback you take, like even if you want to move on from Justin Fields and take a quarterback this year, I think the team and what would be better for the franchise would be to take that top fire guy at number 1 or 2 and Marvin Harrison Jr. or trade back a couple spots, pick up Marvin Harrison there. And then you got another spot pick that could be in the top 10. And you got your pick of quarterback outside of Caleb Williams and Drake May. You got Jaden Daniels, you got Bo Nix. There's all types of guys out there who I think would have a lot better chance of success with DJ Moore on one side and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the other than coming in here with DJ and a bunch of nothing like we got now.
I would, you know what, to be honest with you, because I don't think you can get the guys you want if you take that quarterback that high. And if you trade down, I think you're going to miss the quarterback you desire. If you're going to go the way that you're saying, I would just keep Justin. And then I would just use that to get the skill position in the trenches on either the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball is probably what I would do moving forward. So you still would have that threat, and then you still would have either a 3 technique or a tackle that you have on a rookie deal for 4 years before you really have to re-sign them to large money.
Yeah, killer point. I think.
And look, don't forget about T. Higgins too. Now T. Higgins is a free agent.
Hey, that's one way where you could wipe it all out. If you can get a wide receiver like T. Higgins in free agency.
But you're about to pay. They're about to give DJ Moore. They're about to redo DJ Moore contract in the upcoming season. Yep. Like he has a team friendly contract, but they're going to give him. He's going to get an improved contract. So the thing it's going to get a raise, and you'd probably be better off getting a rookie, a nice rookie,
especially in a class this talented. Yeah,
right. And that way, by the time that rookie is going to get paid, DJ Moore is out of that contract. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you can decide by then, depending on how well DJ Moore is playing, do you want to still keep him? Does he want to stay here and help maybe give you a more team-friendly deal, particularly if the team is really good and he's made his home here before you have to give that Marvin Harrison Jr. or whatever receiver their first big contract. And that's why, Will, I was telling you earlier, all that $10 million to stay at Ohio State. The whole thing in the NFL is getting to that second contract. And the faster you can get to it, the faster you can really change lives in your household. Because especially how these contracts keep going up crazy with what these guys are getting nowadays.
But hey, Ken, that guy from Washington, he ain't no slouch. Rome, he's
not. Yeah. He's not.
Malik Neighbors, he's no slouch. Keon Cole, he's no
like there's names. You keep going, Xavier legit. My only problem with Neighbors from LSU is he's DJ Moore. I mean, he's almost a DJ Moore clone. He's the same size, very physical and good after the catch like DJ. So it's like Ken said earlier, you almost want a bigger catch radius guy who could play X receiver like Romo Dunes or Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, we can't go wrong with either one of them. Like I said, we got good flexibility this year, but you got to have the right people. The key is Justin, of course, but it's also coaching. Like, I don't care who we bring in at the end of the day. Like, and we will know a lot more after Black Monday.
For real.
We're going to know a lot more because going off of what Brian Post did last year, where he got rid of that pick early. If they hold on to that pick, if they a month from the draft and haven't moved that pick, the writing's on the wall, basically.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
That's true. Man,
boy, this is gonna be some drama. We're gonna have to create a Fox series on this one.
But you know, the only unfortunate part is that this was supposed to be the cherry on top of the season.
Correct.
That we were supposed to come back from having a good year and then be like, man, and we got 2 first-round picks.
Got that pick.
And it flipped into now we had to go all the way back, but can't wait for the draft. And it's like, dude, come on, man. Like, I love the draft. It's a holiday for me, but we were starting to talk about it too early this year. We had to talk about it too early last season. And it's like, no, dude, I want to talk about victories. I want to talk about, man, you know what this team will do next year after what they did through the growth they had this year. They're going to be able to add in so-and-so and so-and-so. And, you know, the coaching staff hampered them. You know, and that's just the truth.
That's the worst part about it. If you look at the NFC, man, the NFC after the 49ers,
wide open.
And the Eagles and the Cowboys, it's wide open.
49ers, Eagles, Cowboys, wide open.
It's not too much of a gap between the Bears and the Lions, if you want to be honest. Like if you want to be honest, and it's coaching because Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell, they're like that game against the Packers. Do you realize Campbell went for it on 4th down 4 times? They didn't get it 4 times, and they still was in a position to at least tie the game. But he didn't play scared though. He didn't play
not scared at all. Not
and
scared
after
at
the
all.
game, what did he do? He came up and took responsibility and said, "I shouldn't have put those guys in that position." Because realistically, what's his name?
That's where you
Jared
want a
Goff.
middle ground there.
Yeah, Jared Goff was the reason why. Because Rashawn Garrett, look, they was on Goff ass the whole game on Thanksgiving. So, but Dan Campbell, he believed in his guys though. It wasn't no bring the field goal unit. No, 4th and 3 we going for. 4th and 5 we going. And a couple of times they was in field goal range. He's like, no, we're going for 7. Like I can live with that as a fan, knowing that I got a coach, win, lose, or draw, that has confidence in the play calling, in the personnel to even take that gamble. And on 4th and inches and 4th and 1, we running Cole Kmet on tight end sneaks. When you got
don't bring that up, man. That's tough. Come on now.
The first game of the year against Green Bay, the first drive.
That was the worst call I've ever seen.
And when I saw that, I said, Ken, you got to be kidding me, man. You got Justin Fields over here. I know can get a yard. And you got Cole Kmet.
And they didn't even push him. They didn't even do the push or anything.
Oh, my God.
Like, man.
That was a foreshadowing right there for the coaches.
Yes, it was. Of this whole season, entire season. But I'm supposed to be like this. But I'm supposed to say these last 5 games, though, right? These last 5 games, though, they can remedy all this.
But still, as fans, we don't want to talk draft. We still want to enjoy these last 5 games as fans. We want to watch these because we're all going to have those 9 months of the offseason where we're missing football that's coming real soon. So it's good.
The NFL and the USF just merged. I saw some I read online with Rock Johnson. So that's
the Rock. Yeah. Hey, hopefully that's good. I watched a few games of it last year.
Yeah, because they got a team in Arlington, so I saw that. But it doesn't again equate to the NFL talent. But it's supposed to be that little, pacifier.
Minor league. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like the G League for the NFL, even though it's been a fight amongst whether they want to have that because of TV dollars and things like that. But it's like, every year we come out excited and we come out fired up. And then it's like this year, realistically, even in a second year of a rebuild, there's no reason where if we had proper coaching that we couldn't have won 10 games or 11 games. I'm sorry. Like we right now we're in a position where we should have 7 wins with 5 games remaining. And all 5 of these games are winnable. So Cleveland, we're going to get to see the true test for Braxton Jones as he goes up against Myles Garrett. That will be his true litmus test because moving forward,
Myles Garrett's the guy. Hey, that's the one. Hey, all those other guys are good. Aiden Hutchinson's good. Chase Young's good. But Myles Garrett, that's a test. And he moves around too. He's not only going to go against Braxton, he'll go against Darnell Wright. We'll get to see what our rookie can do. And he'll even come inside at 3-tech sometimes and hopefully get some one-on-ones with Tev, and we can see what Tev can do there. But
Kenneth, guess what? Guess who's rejuvenated their career, and I really wanted the Bears to get him to rush the passer last year.
Who's that?
And with the Ravens, he got 8 sacks right now.
Who was that?
Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, yeah, Clowney, yeah.
Don't start with that because I thought I was all for the Bears bringing him in. It was like, to me, they need to bring in 2 wins, and he was one of them. I was like, just look, he can stop the run, and whatever sacks he gets, Supreme is just a plus, right? Like, just go along with that. Like, I'm with you on that. Like that, yeah. He would have been ideal for this system because the back end, the back 7, like as far as I'm concerned, that's why I'm like, let's play more man-to-man, more man press because
our secondary is strong. Yeah,
they're strong. Terrell Smith. Jalen, like everybody can man up. Kyler Gordon, then you got Edwards and Edmonds. Like the back 7 is solid. It's the front. If you're gonna run a cover 2 and not even a pressure cover 2, you got to have somebody to get out the quarterback. And when I saw Jordan Love fumble the ball and then pick it up, like bro, he just tapping the ball in the pocket like this.
He was.
Wait for Jaden. What was Jaden last night? Jaden Reed to come over. Matter of fact, Christian Washington even played that game. Romeo Dobbs had 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
So I'm sitting here like, this right here is why, again, I can't rest my morals that the right thing will be done, because we know what the right thing looks like and what should be done for long-term sustainability to get back to the 80s.
Well, how are we going to get there? The problem is when we're changing coaching staffs every year and change.
They're not.
How
though.
are we going to get there?
They're not changing. Like I also look.
No,
look,
I'm not saying we fired coaches when we shouldn't have. I'm saying, but when we fire Eberflus, if that happens this offseason,
hopefully you do something different than what you did the last time.
Right.
You
they
get
have
someone
to get it right. Yeah, they have to get it right, or we're going backwards again.
But you can't have a fear of not getting it right being the reason why you stay in something that's not working at its optimum level.
True.
Come on now.
You can't. So you can't say, well, we don't know if this guy what did you do bad when you made the decision the last time? All right. Don't do that. All right. I won't just say go totally opposite, but whatever you did, perhaps look for someone who's done it before. Even if he's not a head coach right now, maybe he was an interim, but even he still had the opportunity to where he was the CEO and he had a taste for it and he understands some of the issues that will come across his desk at that position rather than everything being brand new. Now, or maybe, okay, let's just say you bring in a coach who hasn't done it before. You don't bring in an offensive coordinator who's never done it before. You bring an offensive coordinator who's called plays before. You listen, if you can't get Jim Harbaugh, you give Ben Johnson $2 more million than anybody else was going to give his ass. Ben Johnson, I got the first pick in the draft, and I got Justin Fields, right? You do whatever the hell you want with this offense. You bring whoever in who you want to be your offensive coordinator, even though you're going to be calling the plays. I don't care. Just do what you do. And how you're sitting here setting teams up all game long, getting wide receivers open that you be like, well, how the hell is he open? You bring that over here, and we're going to let you run the ship, basically. And Ryan Post kind of got to listen to you with what the hell you want as far as to improve your team. That's all you got to do. You got to be the team that's like, no, dude, I'm going to get him. See, the problem is they're never the team that's like, yo, that's him. I'm about to go get him. Or, oh, girl, she's the one on campus, right? Okay, I'm about to go. I'm about to let everybody know I'm that guy or whatever. No, we be like, yo, I'm about to go digging up under a rock, or I'm gonna wait till closing time comes on and find who. Girl. Yeah, get you like that's what you basically on. I mean, whatever the discount I can get, right? It's like, no, dude, if you want it,
we're a big time market.
Like, last thing I'll say, and getting back to my dad, and I love my dad. He passed when I was 23. Used to tell me there's no such thing as a good deal. And I used to hate that when I was growing up, right? I'd be like, Dad, I want to get this car right here. It's got this on it. It's got 160,000 miles on it. Some. It's only this. And be like, there's no such thing. And I used to be like, no, you just hating. No, he was spitting facts. All right. If you really want something of quality, you're probably going to have to pay for it if you can't build it yourself. All right. Like that's just probably the truth and life. And even if you were building yourself, you probably have to pay a little bit of more money to make sure that it's the standard that whatever that else was as far as the quality is. You can't cut corners. You just really can't. Like if it doesn't work, unless you're wealthy, and you know what I'm saying. But I'm talking about in their business, not just in their life, but in your business wealth. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're like, but you can't. You got to do what you need to do to have sustainable winning. And that's got to be, you can't just sit here and just say, I'm just hiring rookies at everything again. You can't.
Because rookies don't know how to win. Rookies, they haven't been tested. And we're seeing evidence of that right now. Because look, if I'm Tyler Scott and I drop that pass because I can't judge the ball, look, y'all wouldn't see me on no pot. Y'all wouldn't see me on nothing.
Nothing.
Every day after practice, I'm on the jug machine.
That's what Mooney was doing as a rookie, man.
Mooney bought a jug machine his rookie year and put it in his house. Like to me, that's commitment and dedication. And not saying that Tyler, shout out to Tyler. I know you're committed and you're dedicated, but at the end of the day, that's the stuff you got to do to elevate yourself and make yourself relevant and make sure that you stay in this position for a long time, because it's a short window to really make and impress. So when you get those opportunities and your numbers called, in that same game, he had a fumble too. And I'm like, oh, Tyler, I love you, baby. But like you got to handle those opportunities so your name will get
this is their opportunity for the Bears.
Level.
This is it. I mean, Ken said it. We haven't really ever brought in that big time head coach, but you kind of made the point there. We got the number one pick. We have a young roster. We have cap space. We have an extra first-round pick. We have a quarterback on the roster who, if you don't like, you can at least trade him for something, but you might like him too. So this is a prime time position where if you look at all that, there's going to be a lot of head coaching turnover this year. We'd be number one. I think we're the number one most attractive.
Depending on how somebody feels about Justin Herbert, that's the real problem. If someone's like, you know what, I want to go and work with that's the only team, and it's in Los Angeles, and Harbaugh wants to get back to the West Coast. Yeah. That's the only team that I feel could disrupt the Bears from being the best option because of what people think who Justin Herbert should be and how terribly Brandon Staley has been as the head coach there. But I would still think, to be honest with you, I would still choose the Bears.
Because you have the choice here. You got the pick,
cap
or the
money,
quarterback,
and cap money.
And flexibility.
Right? Yeah, it's flexible.
Chargers are paying Mac and Bosa already. So
and Mac is about to get paid. They got to decide they're going to replay Mac, and Bosa's hurt. So probably you're going to have to give Mac some money if you want the defense to be worth a damn moving forward next year. So I personally would say the Bears, but I know I have a bias.
What about fan base, though? This is one where I know we're biased, but when you look at it as fan base, the Chargers are a team that's moved around, and you don't even know. We're one of the most prestigious teams in the NFL, where if you talk to people that have had success here, they'll tell you, you win in Chicago one time, you're a legend for life. Like, that's all you come here and win one
Harbaugh
time.
would know that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Harbaugh would know that, right?
Harbaugh said that too. I've heard him say it before, that he values his time in Chicago. So, hey, we have a chance this year, and I think that's a great positive note to probably end on here. Is we're set up where this is a team that no matter what happens, no matter which way or direction it goes, it looks good from the outside looking in. The wins aren't there yet, but this is a team that's set up to have a bright future with multiple first-round picks and a lot of young talent on the roster. And I want us to turn that corner this offseason and make something happen. To me, I want Justin Fields, but the bottom line, I want this Bears team to win football no matter who's at quarterback, who's a head coach, or who's at GM.
I agree with everything you said, man.
And honestly, man, hey, talking with you, Ken, hey, this was great. Will, I appreciate you hooking this up and bringing Ken on here, because it's been awesome, man. You're a guy who knows football. You can tell just talking to you for a couple minutes that you know football and you keep it real. You're not just out there saying stuff for interactions or anything. You're saying what you know from watching and your life experiences. And I truly appreciate that, and couldn't thank you more for coming on.
I appreciate both of you for bringing me on here. I had a really enjoyable time. It's nice to meet you, Swift. It's nice to see you face to face, Will. I look forward to joining you, gentlemen, whenever you need me, if I don't have to work. And everybody that's watching this, please be safe. Please like and subscribe for the Swift Sports Show, and follow all of us at our handles.
That's it. Let's go.
Hey, you got any final words, Will?
Hey, look, I'm looking forward to the remainder of this year. I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna finish 9-8. I might be a little optimistic, but we're gonna go into 2024. We're gonna go into 2024 with some momentum, 6-game winning streak, and guess what? The sky's the limit if we got the right coaching for 2024. That's what it boils down to. It like we bring in all the talent in the world. Period. If we don't have the right coaching to cultivate that talent, then it's all a pipe dream. It's just mere entertainment that we're feeling for the month of August through February. So, we want the beloved to do well, but ultimately, like I said, it's on the front office and the coaching that either we bring in, or as of right now, the current coach we got over the next five games, let's see if they can dig deep within and create some momentum.
Ken, you look like you had a final word there. Did you want to comment on his playoff?
No, I'm not.
No, okay.
I did already. I don't have to make any more comment. I did already.
Hey, man, I'm nothing but love. I appreciate you for being on here, man. Bear down.
Thank you. Hey, bear down, brother.
Swifty in the house.